This is Pastor Blake, and we're continuing through the Psalms. Today we're with Psalm 32, and I want to kind of jump right into the middle of it to the promise that we have at Psalm 32, verse 7. It reads like this: "You are my hiding place," speaking of our Lord. "You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance." I think all of us want to live in that reality, that we find our hiding place, a stronghold, a fortress. God is our protector, protecting us from trouble, whether it be financial, whether it be physical, whatever the trouble is. But what I want you to see is the verses that lead up to that promise. So in verses 1 and 2, it talks about those who are blessed. Some translate that as, those that have great joy, or we could even put in there those that will have deep peace, but that is all encompassed in the word blessed. Now listen, verses 1 and 2. "Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord does not count against them, and in whose spirit is no deceit." So do you notice that this blessed language is all about forgiveness? The one whose sins are forgiven, they're not holding on to their sins and feeling the shame of them. Then in verses 3 and 4, the psalmist, though, goes back to when that was not the case, when he was not living the blessed life. Listen to what he says in verse 3. Now, the context here is all about us dealing with our sin. "When I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy on me, and my strength was sapped as in the heat of summer." And so when we are silent about our sin, we try to hide them, we don't confess them to the Lord. It talks about physical pain, talks about emotional pain, the groaning. It talks about weakness. Our energy is sapped. But then the psalmist comes back at verse 5 to say when this changed. Verse 5, "Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, quote, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, unquote, and you forgave the guilt of my sin." And so he's now saying this is how he got to that blessed place, is because he didn't keep silent about his sin, but he acknowledged them and confessed them. And then in verse 6, right before we get to the promise, he gives us a therefore. Because those who are blessed are those whose sins are forgiven. His own experience when he did not confess his sin. Then his experience when he did confess sin. So what does he say in verse 6? "Therefore, let all the faithful pray to you while you may be found." And then it leads into the promise. So I want to share this with you this morning. You are home probably, or at least things are slower than they used to be. I wonder if now's not a time for you to be still and let God speak to you. A later psalm, Psalm 139, the psalmist prays, "Search me, O Lord. See if there's any offensive way in me." And so today I just want to encourage you to not keep silent, to realize that this promise that God is our hiding place, he'll protect us, is for those that are in right relationship with him. And this is your opportunity. You don't have to be at a church service. You don't have to be before a priest. Right there where you are, you can come to this place where you acknowledge your sin. Maybe it's something that you left undone, or maybe it's something you've been hiding for a long time. But here's your opportunity. "Therefore," as the psalmist says, "let all the faithful, those who trust in the Lord, let them pray to the Lord while he may be found," while he's available. He's available to you today. I'm praying that you will walk in this blessed hope, knowing God is your hiding place, that he's protecting you, and that you're not carrying around the shame or the guilt of sin. Confess it to the Lord and receive his forgiveness. God bless you.